Ranjan, and this is my place in Canadian history. My story begins in Sri Lanka, a small country right below India. My mother lived in Jaffna with her 3 sisters and 1 brother and her parents. Her dad had passed away of a heart attack in 1982. In 1983, the Sri Lankan Civil War began. This took place because the Sinhalese disliked the favoritism towards the Hindu Sri Lankans by the British. This war caused over 80,000 deaths. It also damaged the economy and the tourist areas. At this time, my uncle left Sri Lanka looking for a better life for him and his family. He first took a boat to India, where he lived for 4 years. During his stay there, he was seeking refuge in Canada. My uncle really wanted to go to Canada and start a new platform for him and his family. He heard that in Canada the healthcare is free and also is the education. This intrigued him. When he heard that some Indians are fleeing to Canada, he hopped on the opportunity of going. After months of traveling on the boat, he finally made it to British Columbia. After arriving, he decided he would need a job so he could live there. When looking for a job in BC, he could not find one. So he moved to Ontario. There he found an amazing job and decided to apply for a landed immigrant. When finally he received it, he decided to sponsor my mother and grandmother on their family class, whom were still living in Sri Lanka. My mother and grandmother left Jaffna and came to Colombo because of the war that was occurring. This is where my mother and father met. My father was a teacher. They fell deeply in love the moment they met, but they didn't have much time to spend together because my mother had to leave to Canada and my father had to leave to Germany so they could escape the war. My mother and grandmother finally came to Canada in 1993, 2 years after the Cold War ended. Right when she came, she started looking for a job, but had a hard time because she did not speak English. After some help from family and friends, she found a job and she started. In July 1996, my mother sponsored my father from Germany. In September 1996, my parents tied the knot. November 25th, 1998 is probably the best day ever because my parents had me. Probably the bestest decision they ever could have made. In October 12, 2001, my idiotic brother was born. I only call him idiotic because he took my spotlight. But soon after, I realized that I'm the older one, so he has to listen to me. When I finally started kindergarten in 2002 at Vista Heights Public School, I thought it was probably the bestest thing ever. I finally graduated kindergarten in 2004, which was really exciting for me because I got to wear a graduation cap and a pretty dress. After finishing kindergarten, my parents thought it was time to move to a bigger house. In 2005, my parents decided that they wanted to go visit their homeland again. They were scared because the Civil War was still occurring. When visiting there, I met my great aunt, Tangamappa Kuti. She is a person who dedicated herself to the development of Saivism and Tamil language. She is also known as a historian. She became the trustee of Tillepalli Thukkaman Temple. She has founded and worked with several institutions. She has provided homes, education, and food to many orphan children. She was very well known throughout the city of Jaffna. I am glad that I had met her, this woman, before her death in 2008. After my visit to Sri Lanka, my dad sponsored my grandma and grandpa so they could come live with us in Canada. This way, I had all my grandparents together. My grandfather passed away due to bone cancer and a kidney failure. This was a sad time for my family, and we just started getting to know him. But soon we realized that he's in a better place. Looking back at my history, I realize how thankful I am to my uncle for starting our lives off in Canada. Because of him, I'm here in Canada, a beautiful country. Right now, I am studying at Stephen Lewis Secondary School. I'm a grade 10 student. I have no clue how my future looks for me, but I am intrigued to know. Maybe I'll do something revolving history. Maybe I can become a historian like my great aunt. Who knows? Well, for now, I'm enjoying my life with my cousins, friends, family. this is this is how I'm living. This is my place in Canadian history. What's yours?